what is disease? Let's first understand disease. Disease is that which is when you are out of ease, when you are not in ease with something, and it can happen at any level. It is not necessary that disease, when we talk about disease, we generally talk about disease only at the physical level. No, disease is not necessarily only at the physical level. It is happening at the any level, whether be it mind, body, or at the emotional level. Yeah. So now, right now, wherever you are sitting, right now, wherever you are sitting on your chair, and if you are not feeling comfortable, then that's also disease. You are out of ease. But generally, when we are talking about not being at ease, we are talking about the bigger kind of disease, not just somewhere you are sitting and you're having a problem. No, we are talking about a bigger kind of ailment. Yeah. But when we are talking about disease, we are also mentioning disease like the emotional disease at the emotional level, the disease at the mental level, the disease at the functional level. Like you get varied sensations in your body, but they don't feel right. Yeah, many of us have experienced this. Or the physical pathological disease that we go and get ourselves tested for. So it can be any kind of disease. Anything can be called a disease. So that's the disease that we are talking about. Yeah. Now, why does disease happen? That's the second question. Why does disease happen? Yes. And I'm going to make it very simple today. Huh? In this next 1 hour, let's make it very simple. And I can tell you one thing, that for me, it has been easy to deal with, because with all my students, when they come to learn hypnotherapy from me, the first statement that I make, let's make hypnosis simple. And that's exactly about life. Let's make life simple. And same thing about disease or health. When we make it simple, your mind starts finding ways to heal it, and that also becomes very simple. We have been caught up in this trend to make it very complicated, to make it very difficult for ourselves. We try to look on the Google and all that. No, let's make it very simple. Mind understands things simple. When you make it complicated, that is the time it starts struggling. And look at life also. This is what is said generally. Life is simple till you interfere in it. You are the one who actually complicate life. How many of you believe this? Yes. You are the one who actually, we step into it. Otherwise, life is like river flowing. Life is like river flowing. And it's looking very clean. You can see the bottom also of the river. Then you step into it. And then you raise all the mud. And then you say, oh, river is dirty. No, the river was clean. You stepped into it. Same thing about life. It's going smoothly. You step into it, and then whatever happens, happens. There's nothing wrong about it. But first of all, trying to get that you stepped into it. Are we together? First of all, getting this, that you stepped into it. Yeah? So now, looking at why does stress happen? Why does disease happen? So let's go into the second one. Disease happens for a simple reason. Yeah, anyone? Disease happens for a simple reason. That is, anyone? Please share. What do you think could be the cause of a disease? Thoughts. I knew that would come up. People think you're talking to a hypnotherapist, and everywhere the books write thoughts, but we are not able to figure out why still. Go ahead, thoughts. And thoughts is something that you can't even control. Yeah, thoughts is something that you can't even control. So it becomes so difficult for people to mentally unstable. Okay, thanks, Krishna. Heat, emotions, agree, Vivek, yes. And imaginations, yes. Nikita, fear, very good. Satisfaction, lack of satisfaction, Chatura, yes. Chatura, belief. Sumit, satisfaction, yes. Sumit, yes. Overthinking, Anjali, yes, great, good one. Go ahead. Yeah. Good. So that's some of them. Okay. When you put them all together, see, you don't have a problem with thoughts, you don't have a problem with emotions, you don't have a problem with imagination. Your thoughts, your emotions, your yes, expectation is one of the things, delusion is one of the things. They all become problematic when you are not able to handle it. Do you agree? When you are not able to handle it, that's the time it becomes a problem. When you put it all together, when are you not able to handle when are you not able to handle it? That is the time we call it stress. Now, let's simply understand stress. What is your idea about stress? Yeah, put it down. What is your idea about stress? Any pressure that is beyond a body to take. Okay. So if it's only in the body, then you call it stress. If it is in the mental level, then psychological level. Inability to handle an instance. Okay, that is stress. That is inability to handle an instance. Okay. Angry. Okay. Any situation cannot be handled. Okay. Is stress normal or abnormal? Is stress normal or abnormal? Normal. Stress in thoughts and emotions that we can't balance. Yes. Normal. Yes. So there are two types of stress. Thank you everyone. Yeah, Tamanna. Yes. Yeah, Prachina says abnormal. Yes. There are two types of stress. One is the regular kind of stress. Remember, stress is normal. The way I am sitting, the way you're sitting, the way you lift your hands up, move your body, that's all because there's some amount of stress is required to make any movement, even to talk, even to eat. Some amount of stress is required, but that's normal stress. The stress which you cannot handle or that goes beyond your capacity to handle or that creates the kind of problem or starts affecting you, that is beyond that normal level of stress, and that we can call as distress or abnormal stress. But otherwise, stress is normal. We need stress to do anything and everything in our life, including you're lying down and you have to get up from your bed. You need stress. A dead man doesn't have stress, and we are definitely not that. Right? We are definitely not that. So stress is required, but when the stress is beyond the capacity to handle and it is being held in the body for a period beyond what it should be held, then it is starting to have its own effects, and that becomes a disease over a period of time. Okay. So some amount of stress is okay, but and disease happens when the stress continues for a longer period, and then the body's defense mechanism breaks down, and then there is it deteriorates. Is that clear? And then there is a breakdown in the immunity also. So stress beyond a particular capacity, it's almost like for an example, the dam can handle it, yes, the water force and all that. But after some time, when the impact of the water on the dam is beyond what dam can handle, then the dam starts cracking, and that cracking is the disease I am talking about. So our body and our mind can handle a particular amount of stress, but when it goes beyond a particular level, then it cannot handle it, and that's where the breakdown begins. Right? So now let's quickly move ahead. Are we together? Yes. Great. So let's understand a bit about trauma. Yeah, we are going very quickly. Let's understand a bit about trauma. So what is trauma? Yeah. So there was this research done by Dr. Robert Scare. Somewhere in 1992, this had come on the National Geographic Channel, where they were showing this movie in which they were anesthetizing the polar bear, yeah, and tagging it. They were putting a tag around it, yeah, when they have to do a research or protect them and know how's the numbers moving and all that. So that's what they were doing. And what they found, that when that polar bear was shot, so it started struggling, it slowed down, and then it fell down and it got anesthetized. But when it came out of that anesthetic effect, that tranquilized effect, immediately it started beating its arms and legs very fast, as if it's trying to run, it's trying to escape. People around thought that the polar bear is in pain, but after a lot of understanding, Robert Scare came to this understanding that it wasn't about the pain, but it was that the polar bear wanted to escape, wanted to do something about it, like there's a threat. And since it wasn't able to do that, the moment it came out, it started completing that procedure. Is that clear, everyone? It was completing that procedure. And as it was doing it, there was a shift in the breathing. The belly bulged, and then the animal relaxed. And that kept happening. So this is what, have we not seen ourselves when we are very stressed and suddenly there's a moment of relaxation, or we have completed the job? What is the first thing that we do? We take a deep breath. Don't we do that? It's a very automatic process. So the same thing happened over here. It took breath and it left. And then it was back to normal. So this is what they found out. So whenever there is a threat, we react by two ways. One is we react by two ways. One is by fight. Second is right? We react in two ways. One is by fight and second is by flight. Right? Now there is another one too. The third one. What is the third one? The third one is called freeze mechanism. Have you heard this? Freeze mechanism? Yeah. So the third one is called the freeze mechanism. In this, what happens? You are not able to run away and you are not able to fight also. We have found ourselves in situations like this many a times. When you are in front of an authority, you cannot do anything. Right? Or a small child is in front of the parents and the parents are behaving very brutally. The child can't run away and live life on its own. Very helpless. Or you can see people gathered and trying to beat up one person. Very helpless. Or you are in a job, corporate job or any job. and you need the job, but there's some person who's troubling you and you feel so helpless. You are in a marriage and you're not happy, or there's something going wrong, but you continue and you say, oh, dil maar ke, man maar ke karna padta, I have to be there. That's the time. Again, you feel helpless. What happens at that time? You are feeling stressed, and all those experiences of stress are showing up. You are getting angry, you are feeling sad, you are feeling negative. And the chemicals corresponding to those emotions, those negative emotions, are also being expressed. But you're not able to do anything. You cannot fight back. You cannot run away. Like many women I've heard, well, we don't want to get out, be in this marriage, we want to get out. But I have 2 children. I can't get out. Familiar? Yeah. And many a times, office, I need the job. I have a mother who's ailing, and nowadays job, it's not easy to get a job. It was never easy to get a job, by the way. Yeah. And then the person gives in. That's a freeze mechanism. Right? You can't run away, you can't fight back, you are in freeze mechanism. And that is the time the trauma happens. We talk about trauma as, oh, I got caught up in the traffic, I was traumatized. That's not trauma. Trauma is when you cannot do anything about it. You feel hopeless. You feel helpless. And it's a crisis-like situation. Now what happens? All those chemicals, all those energies are showing up. The chemicals are being thrown up in the system. But you are not able to do anything about it. It's not being used up. It gets used up when you fight or you run away. Even when you run away, those energies, the adrenaline is firing, and you cannot do anything, and you just let go. Now those chemicals, over a period of time, because this is happening repeatedly, the body is reacting in the same fashion, but you are not taking any action. These chemicals have affinity to different parts of the body. And this, over a period of time, when it accumulates, it becomes a disease. That is what expresses a disease. That's why you'll see people having thyroid problems, spine issues, cervical issues, uterine issues, migraines, pains that they can't explain, headaches, shoulder pains. And they say, I cannot do anything about it, and I've been taking medicines for so many years. Why it doesn't go? It doesn't go. Diseases don't get healed. First of all, diseases don't come. Pay attention. Diseases don't come because you are aging. No. That's a distorted picture that has been given to us. Diseases don't come because we are aging. Diseases come because we live under stress for a long time and we have not done anything about it, or we have not been able to do anything about it. It is like we have done this game, carrying a brick. Yeah, when we go to the fun and fair, they tell you to hold the brick in one hand with 2 fingers. First 15 seconds you are able to hold it, but after 30 seconds what happens? That same brick, maybe 2 kgs or something, it becomes 4 kgs, 8 kgs. By the end of 45 seconds you can't even hold it. You feel as if it's like a 1 ton ka brick. Have you not experienced this? Same thing happens. It's like carrying a weight of 10 kgs on your shoulder. You carry 10 steps, perfect. But you carry 200 steps, 500 steps. Now the same weight of 10 kgs becomes like 100 kgs. Right? The same thing happens with stress. If you are continuing to be in the same position, then that same problem gets magnified. And then it starts coming up as a disease. Now disease is only trying to show that there's something not right in what's happening, or the way you're dealing with it, or your body is not able to handle it. So disease is not your enemy. Don't treat it as if you have to banish it, kill it, overthrow it. It's not your enemy. It is only trying to help you. For example, if there's a smell that is coming in your house, that doesn't mean that there's something really wrong with you or with the house. No, you go and check. Oh, then you see a rat that is dead somewhere. Remove it, throw it, finished. But the smell tells you, says something wrong. You don't keep putting perfume over there and say, oh, the smell shouldn't be there. There's nothing wrong about it. So disease is only trying to help you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So Dharmil writes, it makes one realize till one acts, I guess. Yes. Yeah, someone writes, will we get a recording of this call? Yes, Tamanna, you will get a recording of this. You will not get a recording, I'll put it on YouTube. Yeah? So don't worry, you will have the recording. Yeah? So anytime you can go and watch and repeatedly watch. Yeah? Okay, so this is what it is. Now this stress is experienced at all levels of your mind and body. Where all do you experience this stress? How does it express itself, the stress? How does the stress express itself? It expresses in your as symptoms, right, Savita? It expresses in the form in your breathing, first of all. When you are stressed and when you are relaxed, can you see that shift in your breathing? When you are angry, when you are sad, when you are happy, when you are calm, don't you have different types of breathing? So breathing is a great indicator of whether you are stressed or not stressed. Yeah, even when you are in pain, when you are anxious, you can see that there's a shift in the breathing. So it is expressed in the form of breathing. It is expressed in the form of your bodily experiences. It is expressed in the form of your bodily experiences. You can feel those sensations in your body. And it is also some internal mechanisms. Yeah? So there are so many things happening. So there are various ways you can understand, and do not avoid looking at what's happening with you. That's very, very important. Yeah? So coming back to this. Congestion in the stress, yeah, congestion in chest, Mahesh, yes. And somebody with the Oppo, perspiration, Nikita, perspiration, feel like crying. Feel like crying is a behavior. Yes. Okay. Now what happens, that trauma that is there, the stress has happened, that situation, the traumatic event has happened. Remember, trauma is not an event. Trauma is an experience. Trauma is not an event. Trauma is an experience. If you are capable to handle that situation at that time, chances you will not get traumatized. But if you are feeling helpless and hopeless and you cannot move, there is large possibility you will get traumatized. And that is what happens with many children who get traumatized. If you notice, many of them are beaten up and then they are told not to move, not to speak. And then they carry that pain for long period. Does that resonate? Yes. Great. So that is what it is. Now what happens with this experience? The situation is gone. But the body behaves as if the situation is still happening. And that is why, and since it feels that it is as if it's happening now, the chemicals the hormones and all those are being thrown up as if it's happening now. I'll just give you an example. There are times when everything is very nice and everything is going fine in your place, workplace, house, and someone says something and suddenly you start flaring up. And people are wondering what could be the reason for you to flare up so much, to react so much. Or just as an example, someone has been abused, as in childhood. They walk around, even when they grow up, they walk around as if the person out there might take advantage of them. Even when they are 40 years of age, but they still feel it. It feels as if it's happening now. You are not able to break off from that situation, that situation happened then and it's over. No, we are not able to do that. Many of us behave as if it's happening now. The body behaves as if it's happening now. War victims or people who are very scared in childhood, as if, yeah, Prachina, as if it's currently happening. And since it feels as if it's currently happening, the body reacts like that. And that it maintains the body under stress, and that is what, because there's a particular level of stress that it can take, then it expresses itself as a disease. Yeah, so we got to work on the traumatic experiences. So now we come to our topic: how do we heal the disease? Yeah, so here I'm going to talk a bit about core somatic integration therapy. So this is a therapy that I have figured out. Yeah, I was going through my own issues in 2000, around that time, and even in college, medical college, I had this irritable bowel syndrome. When I met my teacher, he said, "Oh, you cannot cure this. You will have to stay with this for lifetime." And I was wondering, how does that happen? And then there was struggle, because irritable bowel syndrome, it struggles some, because there's a lot of pains in the abdomen, and then you want to go to your class or whatever, any kind of stress, you want to pass motions, so it would become difficult. Like you have to go for your exams, you're stressed, you want to first go to the loo, so it would become difficult. So there's a lot of struggle, and it's because of a lot of anxiety and stress. It's one of the symptoms. Yeah, people who are very anxious and stressful, they generally develop irritable bowel syndrome. Yeah, and there are other symptoms also, like you have symptoms of breathlessness, you have symptoms of anxiety, panic attack, and I had almost all of them. And then I would actually, later on I started observing myself. When things were going wrong, I started observing myself. I said, what is happening? And that is where I started noticing that when I observed myself as to what's happening in my mind and body, there was a shift happening in my bodily experiences. I started feeling very relaxed. And that is where I stumbled upon this understanding that if I want to, and if I sit with my body for a good amount of time, observing it in a particular manner, there was a particular manner that I had to observe it. If I can pay attention to my body in a particular manner, it has a tendency to go into a relaxed state. And that was the beginning of this. And I would do it daily. And over a period of time, I not only got cured of my irritable bowel syndrome, but I got cured of my anxieties, panic attacks, sadness, and a lot of other pains and everything that I was carrying. So I actually had victory over the disease. And over a period of time, I started understanding what it is, and I started teaching people. And there I saw that they were also getting those kind of results that was healing them. And later on I started teaching it in a workshop module, and there are a lot of students who have learned it, and they use it not only for themselves but for their families, and it can be easily integrated in any therapy format, like for healers and therapists. It's a very, very effective therapy. So this is called a body-centered therapy, and what it does is it taps into the healing potential of the mind of the human being by releasing the stress and the traumatic experiences. So I'll just give you an example. So I had this person, this client who had come to me, and he was suffering of he was suffering from leukemia, and blood cancer, what we call as blood cancer. So he was suffering of that, and I asked him to observe what's happening, and then he would come up with severe pain in his body, in his hip. He had sciatica too. So we started observing that, and also observing what's actually happening in his body, and he's been suffering for a long time, and he's gone to many doctors and all that, but nothing could happen. So he was referred to me for that. And as he started observing, he started noticing this pain coming up, and as soon as he connected to this pain, he connected to the anger that he had towards his in-laws, because he said, because of them I had to actually I wanted to study further. He was a CA, but before I could complete my studies, they asked me to get married, because he was going around with their daughter. So they said, get married. So 2 years before he could complete his CA, he got married, and he believes that because of them he could never make a good future, or he couldn't make it big in his profession. So he always was blaming his in-laws, and then he had a lot of anger towards his father, a lot of resentment towards his father, right from childhood. Now remember one thing, no diseases happen just immediately. No, acute, yes, it can. But all these big ones, what we call as the chronic diseases, the diabetes, the heart problems, the blood related problems, severe pains, joint pains, they happen over a period of time. That's why I keep telling people, your body is very understanding, it's very empathetic with you. It tries to give you a lot of other signals before it comes up with a big disease, right? But the problem is that we are not actually paying attention to the body in the way that we have to pay attention, such that it heals, or such that it can remain in a healthy state. We have not learnt it. We have never been taught that. Right? So now this person actually observed it, and there was so much of it came up, a lot of crying, a lot of pain, a lot of struggle that came in. And I was also very surprised, because we just took 4 sessions, and then his symptoms started receding. When he came in, he was feeling very weak, very tired. He says, I don't go to work at all. So there is no income. I just cannot move around. I somehow managed to come down to your place. I cannot drive because I'm so weak. But over a period of time, by the 4th session, in the 4th session, he came back. He said, I drove down from Borivali to Churchgate and back again. That's almost like 100 kilometers in a day. And not only that, in next 2-3 months, he actually performed on stage. He could also play music, and that was his dream, which he was never able to fulfill. But after doing this, he said, I'm able to fulfill on what I really wanted right from childhood. So this is something that happens after you do core somatic, when you connect to your body experiences, because your body knows what your passion is. It knows what you have to what you want to fulfill on. It has this innate idea, but generally we keep looking at we think that this is what I want to do, and then we start getting stuck. Are we together? So it's basically you're getting you're tapping into the body's wisdom. This person got very healed, and then there are many other cases. There was this lady who came to me. She was 21 years of age, a psychologist, and she was suffering of polycystic ovarian disease. and periods were very painful and lot of anger in her, and she would just be very curt, very rude in speaking, like she could just snap off. And as we went about with this, doing the sessions, in the first session she came up with this anger that she held against her mother for whatever reasons. Now that made sense to me, because when you're talking about mother, you're talking about femininity. So there was a lack of acceptance of of being a female, one. Secondly, she said, I would never like to marry. I just don't want to marry. That's something that never crosses my mind. Fine. And we did almost 3 or 4 sessions with her. First thing that happened was her pain that was there during her periods, that went down. In the next month, she said, my pains have gone down drastically. Second, she says, my relationships with my mother has improved. I don't get so angry with my mother now. I'm able to relate to her well. In the 4th session, she comes and she says, there are proposals floating around, and there is this proposal come in, and I think I like this guy. By that time I knew what she's thinking in her head. And then next time she comes in, she says, I think I'll go ahead and marry this guy. So from a point where she never wanted to marry anyone, to a point where she's accepted. Today she's a mother of twins. The child is, I think, maybe they are 3 years or something. So that is the kind of transformation that happens, I have seen, because you are connecting to the body's wisdom. You're not thinking in your head, right? So as this shift happens, so what are we doing over here? In core somatic integration, we are basically using the bodily experiences. We connect to the bodily experiences and connect to the breathing mechanisms, connect to what's happening in the body, and thereby we connect to when did it start, the traumatic experience. It can be an open eye therapy also. And that's one of the reasons I'm able to do these therapies anywhere in the world, online. And many of them have found brilliant results. I'm quite sure there are some of them on this group also, on the Zoom call, who will vouch for it, that even on the phone calls, video calls, we are able to make a huge difference. Right? So the core somatic integration is a body-centered therapy. So when there is a trauma that happens, there's a split in the mind and the body. Yeah, we get disintegrated. Otherwise, we are a united, integrated whole. Now that disintegrated part, that gap, that split that is caused, that is what is crying out in the form of symptoms, because it wants to get integrated. It is almost like you broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend and you're not feeling happy, and that person just walked out of your life. And most of them say this, that I haven't got a closure. Does that make sense? So this is what happens when there's a trauma. It has not completed, like the bear doing that movement. It has to get complete for the mind and the body. When it doesn't get complete, the procedure doesn't get complete, it keeps expressing itself in the form of a symptom. Just look at this. You are having a great relationship with your mother, you are having a great relationship with father or your husband, wife, whatever. But if you notice, there was something that was done, there was something that was said a long time back. Anything that happens, you tend to immediately go to that point again in your mind. Yes or no? You revisit that painful time, that event. Yes or no? So this is what happens. It is not complete for the mind and the body. And the moment you think of it, your body experiences the same kind of feeling. You get the same kind of acidity. You get the same constriction in your chest. Now these are all symptoms. Now, In core somatic, in this body centered therapy, what we do is that we go back, we connect to those sensations, and that itself, that's like a pathway to that traumatic experience. It is like that smell of the dead rat. You keep following the smell, you'll reach the dead rat. But generally what is being done, we suppress that symptom as soon as it comes. We put perfume and that becomes worse. Avoid doing it. Yes, so Tamanna writes, everybody may not be able to connect with body and its awareness, and how do you help them? So that's what I'll talk about. So my clients come in, they learn. I actually teach them how to do it. And then we have a therapy also. We have a workshop also for that. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. Yeah. So anyone who wants to can always join the workshop and then also learn. So most of them who have done it, they know how to do it, and then it's all about practice. Yeah, then it's all about practice. So let's go ahead. Now, what you're doing over here is that you're tapping the innate potential of the body by releasing the stress of the traumatic experience, thus allowing the body to heal itself. So it's almost like that bear which was moving, it keeps moving. Have you seen children when they are very angry? They beat their hands and feet. And if they are angry and you put them off to sleep, the first thing they get up in the morning and they're very irritable and they keep they're doing. And we think, oh, this child is being too naughty or too stubborn. No, the child is just completing the experience. And all you need to do is just sit there and watch them doing it or observe them and say, okay, I get it, instead of, but most of us either put them down or beat them up. Earlier it used to be beating them up. Now they just tell them some things. But that procedure, that experience has to get complete for the stress to be released. If it is not, then people like us, we grow up and we carry those and still the pain is there in us. Okay, are we together on this, all of us? Yeah? Great. Okay. So now how do we heal? Yeah. So shall we move into this? How do we heal? Because there are people who are asking this question, that how do we learn this? How do we heal? Now remember, your body is trying to, through a disease also, it's trying to communicate something. Yeah. But we don't listen to the body's communication. We drown it, we push it down, we suppress it. Start listening to your body. Start communicating. Remember one thing, your body knows how to heal. Your body knows how to heal itself. What is required by you is to learn the communication such that the body heals itself. Your body knows how to heal itself. What you need to learn is communicating with the body such that it heals itself. So that's the matter of responsibility for you. That you are the one who's supposed to learn how to communicate to the body. And unfortunately, our education system, our medical system doesn't teach us how to communicate with the body. Why? Because that's not a part of the game. Our parents don't teach us because they don't even know. So we are all in a, no one knows. It's like the blind leading another blind. When you don't know, you cannot teach it also. So what I am doing over here is that I am helping people learn that language. I'm helping people learn how do you communicate with the body. And that is what the story of the person with the leukemia, or the person with the girl with polycystic ovarian disease. And there are many other cases like that. Pains can be dealt with very easily. Yeah. So now, remember, for the communication to happen, there are at least two things that we need to learn. One is intention, one is attention. Now, what happens when trauma is, when you are experiencing trauma or you experience trauma. So basically, we all know about this integration, the right brain and the left brain integration. Everyone knows this? Yes, we all know it. Now, it's working in tandem, but the moment there's a traumatic experience, there's a split happening in your thinking and feeling. Now, the feeling is an emotional part, the thinking is the mental part. And what is the best way to deal with it or to deal with any situation that is painful? Anyone? What is the best way to deal with anything that is painful? Or how do we generally deal with it? We generally deal with it by analyzing. Don't we spend too much time in analyzing? If something goes wrong in some fights are there, you go there, you sit there and you keep analyzing. Why did it happen? Did I do wrong? Did she do wrong? Did he do wrong? Why did he do it? Why she does it? And she does it every time. I don't know whether she loves me or he loves me or no. Oh, why? And then you go on and on and on and on and on and you're only thinking. But get that. That's not what it's trying to convey. Where is the problem? The problem is in the feeling, what you're feeling. You're hurt. You're feeling sad. You're feeling upset. You're feeling anxious. You're feeling insecure. Are we together? It's almost like there is a crack in this wall, the right wall, and you're trying to treat the left wall. Are you getting it? Or you got a fracture in your right hand finger, and you're plastering your left hand finger. That will not resolve the fracture, it will not resolve the problem. So you got to go where it is affecting or where it is expressing. So attention and intention is the key, right? So here what you are doing is that, so moment that happens, the feeling component, which is the right brain space, you move into the left brain space. And the left brain is always solution oriented. How do I crack it? So that's why it's analyzing to crack it. But what you need to do is just observe what's happening, and that is what we are learning in Core Somatic. You have to observe what's happening. What is happening when you're observing? You're using your mental capacity to look at what's happening within you, the feeling. Is that clear? And that is where the left brain and the right brain, or the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, gets integrated. Otherwise, why would we have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind, or a right brain and a left brain? Is that clear? So the solution oriented side of the brain is observing what's happening, the feeling. So this is what we need to do, and that is what is the training that happens. And when you are able to do this, now when you are able to do this, the body knows how to move it, and it starts sorting out those experiences. Whenever you are traumatized, what is trauma? What happens during trauma? See, it is almost like you are making food. So when you are making food, all the ingredients are separate. But then when you are eating it, you're cooking and having it, it's all mixed up. You can't separate them now. And many a times you're not able to make out what all ingredients have been put in. Now, the body needs to go back into that, to process it, it needs to go back to the original state. And when trauma happens, it all gets entangled. They all come together like this. And the mind cannot or the brain cannot process it. Right? And that's why whenever there is that symptom, that experience of stress, it brings up the same symptoms, so that you start paying attention and it starts segregating it, and then it can process it also. And once the processing is done, then you will not suffer of it. When the completion is done, it's like boyfriend left, girlfriend left, and then no closure. But there are times when you can just sit down across the table and you said, this happened. This is why I did it. And the person says, I get it. And after that, suddenly they become very good friends again. As if everything has been resolved. You'll see in your own case, there are times when you're carrying something against your own people, and there are times you sit down and you just say that, express it, and it gets complete for you. Yes or no? Because the whole experience is coming, and then you don't suffer from the problem. The same thing happens over here. And the same procedure is used, because physical disorder or any kind of pathological disorder, if you look behind in the background, there's a lot of unprocessed information that is there. And that unprocessed information is expressed in the form of a symptom. What we need to do is go back and reconnect to that unprocessed information. And the body knows then, when you start paying attention to it, it knows how to sort it. And then it processes it on its own. And slowly you will see a release happening, a discharge happening, and there many a times you are off the disease. And many a times you might need professional help also in this case, because you may not be able to do it on your own. Yeah. So Gunjal Bhandari, yeah, attention, intention. It's very simple. Yeah. So it's like from top I'll show that there is this, you're paying attention to what's happening inside. Is that clear? You're paying attention to what's happening inside. What we do is that whenever there is pain, we start analyzing, trying to rationalize, trying to intellectualize. The more you do that, you are separating yourself from the bodily experiences, the feeling. When you are paying attention with an intention to heal, to clear up, you need to have an intention to resolve something, right or no? Like you can play cricket for fun and you can play cricket to win. The intention is very important. Is that clear? You can go out and just earn because, oh, I need some pocket money, or you want to build an empire. The intention is the key. That is what differentiates. Do you agree? So when you're watching, the right brain, the left brain starts getting integrated in the processes. The processing of the unprocessed information happens. And once that unprocessed information is processed, the entangled material gets segregated, separated, sorted, then they all fall in place. Now it's very clear. And mind needs things to be very simplified to grasp it, because we are all taking information. Every information is taken in the most simplest form. That's why many a times when we don't understand things, you tell the other person, please tell it again. I need to understand. But if the person gives it their way, maybe you will not be able to process it. And you say, I was very confused. I felt sleepy in that when the person was telling it. Do you agree? That's because it's too heavy. But if the person gives various examples, and the moment you understand, you are alive, you feel energized. You say, yeah, now I'll do it. And we'll keep hitting the same wall again and again. Get this. You'll keep hitting the same wall again and again. Right? So this is about how do we heal? Yeah? Let me also, we'll just go a bit 10 minutes beyond time. Okay, so I will be giving you quick steps to healing to happen. You, in this case, you may not understand everything, yeah, but I will give you the steps to healing to happen. This is something that I have got out of my own experience, and this is what I practice every day for last 15 years. Now, I don't differentiate it like this. but for explaining in a workshop I have made this. So the steps to healing to happen, first is acknowledgement of what's happening. Like, I got this pain, I got this trouble, I got this situation, yes, and get this, with this I have treated relationship issues, I have treated various kind of diseases including pathological diseases and functional issues and just financial issues, business issues, yeah, but the process remains the same, because anything that is happening which is beyond your control, which is troubling you, is a disease. Yeah, you got stuck there, and with this process we are only unstucking you, we are just getting you out of that stuckness. The moment you are out of that stuckness, your mind knows, you know how to do it. So first step is acknowledgement. Second is tracking. We track the bodily experiences, we track what's happening in your breathing. Third, which is the most important thing, is witnessing. You observe exactly what's happening in your mind and body. Yeah, these are all processes which you learn in the workshop, and also you got to practice it. Then one important thing that comes in is supporting and movements. See, many a times we fall sick, or so many a times you get traumatized, not because the event is traumatic. Do you know why you get traumatized? The reason for getting traumatized is we don't get that kind of support. I've had so many people coming to me, and many girls, they come into me and they say, oh, I was abused. See, it's common, yeah, it happens. I'm not saying it's good, but then it happens. And being a doctor, being a therapist, I've heard so much of them. But I can hear that pain when they say, oh, I went to my parents and I told them, I went to my mother and told them. And my parents said, oh, you may be lying. Or, oh, this must not have happened, because that person is also close to them. They couldn't do anything. Nowadays it's a different story. But long time back it was completely different. 10 years, 15 years back. And the girl says, I was shattered that day. And that is traumatic. Not just what happened, but when I went and I didn't get the support. So in this, one of the steps is the support that is there. And then there are movements, because the movement in the ligaments and in the joints, it gets stuck, and because we get rigid whenever there's the traumatic experience, we get tightened, yeah, because it's like a fight and flight mechanism, you get stuck in that position. And then there is a particular discharge that happens. Many a times you must have felt that whenever you suddenly have a inspiring thought, or you feel that, oh, this is, I got it, or it's got resolved, suddenly you feel some kind of energy running through your body, and you feel very lively after that. Till that time maybe you are feeling dull. That is the discharge. And then the integration of the part which was disintegrated. And the last one is EFP, which is the futuristic vision, empowering futuristic vision, because we are putting in a new vision and the mind now follows that vision. It automatically happens. Yeah. So this is some of the steps. Okay, friends. So I have gone very quickly. What shall we do after concentrating? So that's a process. I cannot tell you what shall we do after concentrating, because I don't know whether you have understood the thing, because we are not doing a therapy over here. Psoriasis does not affect us. Psoriasis is okay, just let me add, since this word psoriasis is basically, this happens to people who are very sensitive to hurt. So it's almost like they're very painful inside, but they cover it up very well. And generally they could be having an issue with their mother. Make sense? Yes, no? Yeah, psoriasis. I have psoriasis and looking to heal it. Yes, we have cases of psoriasis which has got healed. Yeah, currently I am also treating someone who's got full body psoriasis. Okay, so let me quickly take you through one small round. Yeah, I'm not going to do everything, but generally it takes 15-20 minutes. But we'll just go through a 5-minute thing where you can experience your body. Do you want to do that? Yes? Okay, let's do it. So everyone just relax. So you can close your eyes. Yeah, we are not going into hypnosis. You can just simply close your eyes, but you are aware. And now pay attention to your breathing. We're just going quick. Pay attention to your breath. Take your breath in gently and breathe out. Keep doing it. Be aware of your breath. Be aware of your breath as it goes into your nostrils. Be aware of your breath as you breathe out of your nostrils, just at the nostrils, just be aware. And now slowly feel that energy of your breath is going into your body and you're becoming aware of your whole body. Just be aware of just quickly going into your body. Notice where all your breath travels, right from the head to the toes. As if you are experiencing yourself as a bag full of sensations. Unpleasant or pleasant, just be aware of it. Do not analyze. Allow yourself to be in that space for some more time. Now, just be aware what kind of sensations you have. There could be some kind of tingling. Wherever it is, whatever it is, just observe whatever happens in your body. Do not analyze. Just observe all the sensations. And now, whenever you feel comfortable, slowly stretch yourself, move yourself. And open your eyes. Okay, so tell me, how are you feeling? I'll just unmute you so you can tell me how you're feeling. Acha, unmute.
You just take, sit up, let it go down.
Okay, tell me, how are you feeling? Anyone wants to share?
Brush करना है, खाली गागल करने से.
Okay, I'll have to put you on mute. You'll have to, because there's a lot of other noises.
Be not be.
Okay, who wants to share? Please put on the chat. That's better. Or you can just say you want to, so I can. Okay, so Jyoti writes that you are feeling awesome. Oppo A1 writes very nice. And someone else writes relaxed. Dharmil writes very relieved. Yes. Released, pain in the neck. You're feeling that? Yes. Redmi writes pain in the release, relaxing. Raman writes relaxing. This was relaxing, but this was not the therapy. No. So Tamanna, this is a part of the therapy, but this is not the therapy. Yeah, this is just an experience. But people who have attended this, even with this, there was this lady who went home, her sister delivered a child, and she was having her own problems which was not getting resolved even after 2-3 days of being in the hospital, and she was getting very worried. So she practiced this. She told the sister, whatever I taught over here, she went and told the sister, this is what you got to practice. She also started practicing, doing it on herself, and within 2-3 hours she says what was not happening, changing with all the medicines, within 2-3 hours of this, the sister found a big relief. Tingling and itching on various parts, yes, that's very good, but feeling relaxed. Yeah, tingling and itching is also a release, a discharge. Yeah, got it? Tension in the knee and the shoulder, left one. Yes, good session. Thank you, Redmi. Yes, I can breathe, Jugnu. Yes, very good. Initially a small heaviness. I had knee pain, and same was, yeah. Okay, so great. I have knee pain. So any other questions you want to ask? Yeah, we are done for the day. I have already told you, and people who want to register for the work, they say it's a life transforming workshop, because after this becomes yours. There's not much to, because it's just about practice. Anyone who's learnt Core Somatic, even after 10 years, they come back and they say it is one of the simplest practices, and I am practicing it every day, because it is happening all the time and you become more and more aware of your body. So you start connecting to your body more and more. So that is what happens with the Core Somatic.